I'm Ralph Mangum, and it's time for the WHKY News weekly recap of some of the top crime stories we had for you during the last week, which was the week of July 1st through July 5th. Here we go now. In today's top stories, 34-year-old Lucas Shane Schrantz and 41-year-old Jennifer Denise Clay, both from the same address on Short Road in Newton, have been arrested and charged with murder in connection with the death of their 16-month-old child, Ivy Clay. Schrantz and Clay are the child's biological parents. On February 7th, Catawba County Sheriff's deputies responded to the suspect's residence in reference to a report that a child was unresponsive. When deputies arrived, they found Ivy Clay deceased. An investigation was launched. On February 9th, Schrantz was arrested and charged with trafficking in opium. That charge stemmed from narcotics that were found during the crime scene investigation at the Short Road residence. An autopsy report was released on June 18th. The cause of death was listed as toxic effects from fentanyl and the manner of death as homicide. Sheriff's investigators believe that Ivy Clay ingested fentanyl in the family's residence. Schrantz and Clay were placed in the Catawba County Detention Facility where they are being held without bond. Schrantz was given a $300,000 secured bond on the trafficking charge. Both suspects will make first appearances in district court on July 2nd in Newton.
This incident occurred in April of this year. The victim in this case is 52-year-old Richard Pledger of Statesville. 30-year-old Devin Emmanuel Rankin of Statesville was arrested last Thursday by Statesville police officers. He's charged with first-degree murder, possession of a firearm by a felon, and discharging a firearm within city limits. As we previously reported here on WHKY, on April 21st at approximately 12:25 a.m., the Statesville Police Department responded to a 911 call regarding a gunshot victim at a residence in the 600 block of Stewart Court. Upon arrival, officers discovered Richard Pledger inside the residence with a gunshot wound. Emergency responders from Iredell County EMS and the Statesville Fire Department attempted to save the victim. However, Pledger was pronounced deceased at the scene. The Statesville Police Department's Violent Crimes Unit and Criminal Investigations initiated a probe into the incident. Devin Emmanuel Rankin was identified as the suspect. On Thursday, the U.S. Marshals Carolinas Regional Fugitive Task Force, the Iredell County Sheriff's Office, and the Statesville Police Department apprehended Rankin at a residence on North Lackey Street in Statesville. Rankin was taken before a magistrate and then brought to the Iredell County Detention Center where he was incarcerated without bond. His next district court date is scheduled for July 16th. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
Reporting for WHKY, 17 suspects have been charged in a Burke County arrest roundup. The individuals implicated in the effort face charges including various drug counts and probation violation. The suspects listed addresses in Morganton, Connolly Springs, Valdez, and Hickory. On June 19th and 20th, the Burke County Sheriff's Office, NC Department of Adult Corrections, Community Correction, Probation and Parole, NC Department of Adult Corrections, Special Operations, and Intelligence Unit, United States Marshals Service Carolinas Regional Fugitive Task Force, United States Marshals Service, Valdez Police Department, and the Morganton Department of Public Safety conducted a joint operation. The effort focused on ensuring that high-risk offenders are complying with court-ordered conditions while also gaining information regarding narcotics activity, gang activity, and ensuring sex offender compliance. During the operation, probation officers assisted by officers from the previously mentioned agencies conducted compliance checks on offenders currently on supervised probation due to community complaints and information provided by law enforcement. Officers served numerous outstanding probation and post-release warrants on offenders. At the conclusion of this operation, 30 searches were conducted. Out of those 30, 17 arrests were made and multiple firearms were seized for unlawful possession. Cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl were also found and seized. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
The suspect in this case is a Connolly Springs resident. The Burke County Sheriff's Office says that the suspect has been charged in a string of investigations dating back to January of last year. The investigation that led to the arrest in this case began after the Sheriff's Office received reports of a larceny at a construction site. 50-year-old John Bradley Williams of Knobs Landing in Connolly Springs was arrested last Thursday by Burke County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with felony counts of possession of fentanyl and maintaining a dwelling for controlled substance, along with misdemeanor counts of probation violation and possession of drug paraphernalia. On Thursday, the Burke County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations and Narcotics Division received several reports regarding the larceny of goods from a construction site. During the investigation, detectives discovered video surveillance evidence of John Bradley Williams and an accomplice committing the larceny. Detectives made the North Carolina Department of Adult Corrections Probation and Parole Division aware of the active investigation, and probation officers made contact with Williams. Once at the scene at Williams' residence on Knobs Landing in Connolly Springs, probation officers requested that the Sheriff's Office assist with the search of the residence. During the search, drug paraphernalia, including but not limited to clear plastic baggies, a scale, and pipes, were discovered, as well as a white powdery substance that presumptively tested for fentanyl. John Bradley Williams was arrested and transported to the magistrate's office, where he was charged with the previously mentioned offenses. The investigation is ongoing and more charges are pending. Bond for Williams was set at $12,500 in this case. A court date was scheduled for this past Friday. According to the Burke County Sheriff's Office, this is the 10th felony investigation that Williams has been implicated in since January of 2023. A majority of the charges against Williams are drug counts. He's also charged with firearm offenses and probation violation. Reporting from Burke County for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
A Lenoir man is charged with breaking and entering. 26-year-old Brent Treville Fox Jr. of Cedar Run Street in Lenoir was arrested on Friday by Lenoir police officers. He was charged with felony counts of breaking and entering and larceny. Treville was jailed under $50,000 secured bond in the Caldwell County Detention Center. A district court date was scheduled for July 18th. A woman is charged with larceny after breaking and entering. 46-year-old Heather Ann Flannery of Inlows Place in Lenoir was arrested on Friday by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers. She was charged with breaking and entering and larceny after breaking or entering. Flannery was jailed under $15,000 secured bond in the Caldwell County Detention Center. A district court date was scheduled for July 1st. And a Wake County woman charged with felony probation violation. 52-year-old Wanda Rena Shepard of Daffine Street in Garner was arrested on Friday by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers. She was charged with one felony count, probation violation. Shepard was jailed under $10,000 secured bond in the Caldwell County Detention Center. She was on probation as a result of convictions from October 2023 for felony attempted obtaining controlled substance by fraud. Shepard received probation and an 18-month suspended sentence. A Superior Court date was scheduled for July 9th. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY. Alexander County authorities have arrested a fugitive from Massachusetts. 55-year-old Donald Albert Thomas of Statesville was arrested last Friday by Alexander County Sheriff's officers. He's charged on a felony warrant as a fugitive from another state. Thomas has an active fugitive warrant issued by authorities in Marshfield, Massachusetts, for felony stalking. An assault charge against Thomas is also pending in Iredell County. According to the North Carolina Department of Adult Correction Offender Public Information website, Donald Albert Thomas has multiple convictions listed dating back to 1993. He's been convicted of various crimes in Iredell, Catawba, Caldwell, Rowan, and Alexander counties. The crimes include felony, common law robbery, and indecent liberties with a child. His most recent convictions were in Iredell County in 2015 for felony obtaining property by false pretense and driving while license revoked. The 1999 indecent liberties conviction landed Thomas on the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation Sex Offender and Public Protection Registry. Following Friday's arrest, Thomas was brought to the Alexander County Detention Center under a secured bond of $150,000. He is not listed as an inmate as of earlier today. A district court date is scheduled for July 8th in Taylorsville. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
The two suspects arrested in this case were charged with felony drug and firearm counts. They were taken into custody following a traffic stop over the weekend in Taylorsville. As of the time I'm filing this report, they remain in jail in Alexander County, and they are both scheduled to appear in court later this month. 25-year-old Melanie Nicole Hunt of Newton and 37-year-old Daniel Nikki Letterman of Maiden were arrested Saturday by Taylorsville police. Hunt is charged with felony counts of possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver Schedule II controlled substance, maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place for controlled substance, possession of controlled substance on jail premises, and possession of a firearm by a felon. She's also charged with carrying a concealed weapon, possession of Schedule II controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and multiple counts of possession of drug paraphernalia. She was also served a Catawba County warrant for attempted breaking and entering. Letterman is charged with felony counts of possession of Schedule II controlled substance and possession of a firearm by a felon. He's also charged with possession of Schedule IV controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, carrying a concealed weapon, and driving while license revoked. The two suspects were arrested following a traffic stop by Taylorsville police Saturday evening. The suspect's vehicle was stopped at a location off North Carolina 16 South. Hunt was placed in the Alexander County Detention Center following the arrest under $101,000 bond. Letterman's bond was set at $50,000. They both remained in the Alexander County Detention Center as of the time I'm filing this report, and they are both scheduled to appear in district court in Taylorsville on July 22nd. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
42-year-old Charles Howard Ray III of Morganton has been arrested by officers with the Morganton Department of Public Safety and charged with possession with intent to manufacture, sell, or deliver methamphetamine, trafficking meth, maintaining a vehicle for drugs, possession of meth, possession of drug paraphernalia, carrying a concealed weapon, 2 counts, driving while license revoked, displaying a fictitious tag, failure to register a vehicle with the state, and no insurance. Just after midnight Tuesday, an officer stopped the vehicle for displaying a fictitious registration plate. The driver, Charles Howard Ray III, was found to have a suspended license. Ray failed to notify officers that he was in possession of a firearm. However, he was found to be in possession of a shotgun. A probable cause search yielded a total of 97 grams of meth, over 15 knives, a large metal sword, several glass pipes, a large quantity of plastic baggies, and 2 sets of scales. Ray, who is out on pretrial release, was previously charged in Burke County with trafficking meth, possession of meth, assault by pointing a gun, and obtaining property by false pretenses. He was placed on a 48-hour hold with a court date scheduled Tuesday in Morganton.
A Hickory man arrested earlier this week faces charges filed by 2 agencies. He's charged with stolen vehicle and drug counts and is also charged with non-support. The suspect has multiple court dates scheduled. 34-year-old Xavier Marquise Lee Winston of 20th Street Northeast in Hickory was arrested Monday by Conover police. He's charged with 2 counts apiece of possession of a stolen motor vehicle, possession of drug paraphernalia, and driving while license revoked. He's also charged with single counts of possession of methamphetamine and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. The Catawba County Sheriff's Office also charged Winston with non-support. Following the arrest, Winston was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Facility under $71,300 bond. Upcoming district court dates are scheduled for July 11th, 15th, and 17th. A Superior Court date is set for August 19th. 29-year-old Vanessa Razo Ramirez, whose address was not listed, was arrested Monday by Hickory police officers. She's charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury, and resisting a public officer. Ramirez was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Facility under $100,000 bond while awaiting a Monday court date.
A Taylorsville man is charged with assault by strangulation. 36-year-old Anthony Stephen Wine of Taylorsville was arrested on Sunday by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers. He was charged with felony assault by strangulation and misdemeanor counts of assault inflicting serious injury and assault on a female. Wine was jailed under no bond in the Caldwell County Detention Center. As of this report, no court date was listed. A man has been charged in connection to a fatal crash in Iredell County Tuesday. The deceased has been identified as 28-year-old Keontae Shakir Forney. 27-year-old Ridge Rashawn Gray is charged with felony counts of death by vehicle and flee to elude arrest. He's also charged with reckless driving, driving while license revoked, fail to heed life and siren, failure to stop for a red light, failure to reduce speed, and failure to maintain lane control. According to the Iredell Free News, a North Carolina State Highway Patrol trooper stopped to check on two individuals who were replacing a flat tire on a Hyundai Elantra on Interstate 40 at approximately 9 a.m. Tuesday. The individuals reportedly provided false identifications to the trooper, and further investigation revealed the passenger may have been wanted. While the trooper was checking on warrants, Highway Patrol says that Gray drove off, heading east on Interstate 40. The trooper followed the Elantra east on the interstate before the vehicle took exit 150 toward NC Highway 15 in Statesville. At the bottom of the exit ramp, the Elantra collided with the rear end of a FedEx truck. According to Highway Patrol, a passenger in the Hyundai, identified as Keontae Shakir Forney, was pronounced deceased at the scene. Gray was taken into custody and treated at a local hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. He was arrested Tuesday evening. Gray was not listed as an inmate in Iredell County as of today. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
61-year-old Sherry Kaiser Jenkins of Lowray Lane and 62-year-old Teresa Kaiser Forrest of Pratt Lane, both from Statesville, were arrested by Iredell County Sheriff's officers on June 21st on drug charges. The suspects are sisters. Jenkins was charged with 2 counts of trafficking in opium or heroin and single felony counts of possession with intent to sell or deliver a Schedule II controlled substance and misdemeanor possession of a Schedule V controlled substance. Forrest was charged with felony counts of possession of methamphetamine and maintaining a vehicle for the use of narcotics. Both suspects were charged with misdemeanor counts of possession of a Schedule IV controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia. They were arrested following a vehicle stop on Woodbridge Road near the intersection of Lowray Lane. According to a statement released by the Sheriff's Office, during the stop, Jenkins and Forrest exhibited signs of extreme nervousness and told different stories. Canine Officer Levi was brought to the scene. The dog gave a positive indication to the presence of narcotics in the vehicle. A search turned up a trafficking amount of oxycodone pills and Schedule IV and V controlled substances in a bag that belonged to Jenkins, who was a passenger in the vehicle. When Forrest was asked if she had anything on her person, she admitted that she did and removed methamphetamine and Schedule IV controlled substances from her pocket. Forrest and Jenkins were taken to the Iredell County Detention Center. Jenkins was given a $200,000 secured bond, while bond for Forrest was set at $10,000 secured. They will both appear in district court on July 15th. Jenkins is currently on probation for DWI. Forrest has a criminal history that includes multiple felony and misdemeanor drug charges.
56-year-old Myra Scott Moore of Roper Street in Morganton was arrested Sunday by Morganton Public Safety. She's charged on a felony warrant as a fugitive from another state. Shortly before 6 p.m. Sunday, a public safety officer made a traffic stop on a 2017 Jeep Renegade on South Sterling Street in Morganton. The vehicle was stopped due to a revoked registration plate. It was learned that Myra Moore, the driver of the vehicle, was a fugitive from South Carolina. She's wanted there on an unspecified charge. Moore was taken to the Burke County Jail under a $5,000 bond. As I file this report, she is not listed as an inmate here in Burke County. A district court date is scheduled for August 1st. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
31-year-old Brittany Dawn Riley of Sandra Drive in Statesville was arrested Monday by Iredell County Sheriff's officers on one count of felony child abuse resulting in serious bodily injury. Events leading to Riley's arrest began when the sheriff's office took an urgent call from Iredell Memorial Hospital Monday. A child had been brought to the emergency room by his mother, Brittany Dawn Riley, after she found him unresponsive. Medical personnel determined that the child was overdosing and administered Narcan. The child's condition was stabilized. He was transported to Brenner's Children's Hospital in Winston-Salem for further observation. The child is expected to make a full recovery. Detectives with the Criminal Investigations Division were assigned to the case. During the investigation, Riley admitted to using illegal narcotics, including fentanyl and methamphetamine, at the residence earlier in the day. Riley was taken into custody and transported to the Iredell County Detention Center, where she was jailed under a $100,000 secured bond. She'll appear in district court on July 9th. The Department of Social Services was notified and will investigate the situation further.
In this version of this common scam, the scammers call or email the potential victims and tell them that they have failed to report for jury duty and there is a federal warrant for their arrest. To add credibility to the scam, the scammers either text or email a fake arrest warrant with the names of actual North Carolina federal law enforcement officers and prosecutors. The victims are told they can avoid jail time by paying a fine via a virtual currency machine or kiosk. Additionally, they may manipulate caller ID information to make it appear as though the call is originating from a legitimate source, such as the courthouse or a government agency. They may discourage victims from paying the fine in person, claiming the office is closed due to COVID. Legitimate arrest warrants are not emailed or texted. They are served in person by a law enforcement officer or court official and never include a demand for payment. Individuals need to exercise caution and skepticism when receiving unsolicited phone calls, especially ones asking for personal information or payment. If you believe you have been a victim of a jury duty scam or other fraudulent scheme, file a report with the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. The website is ic3.gov, and you can get more information on this scam by going to this story at our website. That's WHKY.com. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood. I'm going to talk about 3 wanted suspects in this report. You can see the full list of suspects at the Iredell County Sheriff's Office website. The first suspect is a resident of East Spencer. 36-year-old Joshua Arquette is wanted on one outstanding warrant for felony larceny of a motor vehicle. His last known address was 303 Wayant Street in East Spencer. 43-year-old Travis Davidson is wanted by authorities in Iredell County. He's wanted on an outstanding warrant for felony failure to register as a sex offender. The last known address for Davidson was 239 Overcash Road in Troutman. 50-year-old Nathan Hostetter is wanted by authorities in Iredell County. He's being sought on one outstanding warrant for felony failure to report a new address as a sex offender. The last known address for Hostetter is 109 Lanson Drive, room 313 in Statesville. You can see the entire list of suspects wanted in Iredell County by going to the Iredell County Sheriff's Office website. If you have information on any of the individuals I spoke about in this report or that are on the list on the website, you can call the Iredell County Sheriff's Office. Their Statesville number is 704-878-3180. The Mooresville office is 704-664-7500. Reporting for WHKY News, this is Rob Eastwood.
In today's top stories, Hickory police are investigating a shooting that occurred yesterday on the 400 block of 3rd Avenue Southeast in Hickory just after 9:30 p.m. 2 people suffered what were described as non-life-threatening injuries. No one had been arrested as of this morning. No further details are available. The investigation is ongoing.
Charged with possession of methamphetamine, 55-year-old Benny Dale Laney Sr. of Windsong Circle in Hudson was arrested on Wednesday by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers. He was charged with 1 felony count, possession of methamphetamine. Laney was jailed under $75,000 secured bond in the Caldwell County Detention Center. A district court date was scheduled for July 8th.
A suspect who has a list of felony convictions from multiple counties dating back to 2014 has been arrested by authorities in Catawba County. He faces a firearm charge. The suspect was placed in the Catawba County Detention Facility without bond. 35-year-old Darvis James Stacy of Hickory was arrested Wednesday by Catawba County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with possession of a firearm by a felon. Stacy is a felon as a result of multiple convictions in Alexander and Catawba counties dating back to 2014. He was placed in the Catawba County Detention Facility without bond. No court date was listed. 36-year-old Shonda Marie Rumfelt of the Buncombe County community of Arden was arrested Thursday by Conover police officers. She's charged with possession of methamphetamine. Rumfelt was incarcerated in the Catawba County Detention Facility without bond as she awaited a Friday district court appearance. The next suspect is an eastern Catawba County resident who faces break-in charges. 21-year-old William Scott Willis of Helens Way in Catawba was arrested Wednesday by Catawba County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with breaking and entering to a motor vehicle, felony larceny, possession of drug paraphernalia, misdemeanor breaking and entering, injury to real property, and traffic counts. Willis was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Facility under $42,000 bond. Court dates are scheduled for July 25th and August 5th in District Court. 26-year-old Michael Gold Austin, whose address was not listed, was arrested Thursday by Hickory police. He's charged with 2 felony counts of breaking and entering. In addition, Austin is charged with larceny after breaking and entering, larceny from a merchant, misdemeanor larceny, and second-degree trespass. Austin was confined in the Catawba County Detention Facility under $15,000 bond following the arrest. He was awaiting a Friday district court appearance. Reporting from Catawba County for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
You've been watching our weekly recap of the top crime stories from the week of July 1 through July 5. Look for the crime recap every week. It's posted every Saturday, WHKY.com, and on our YouTube channel. That's also where you can find all the rest of the WHKY news, including our top stories, the crime report, local sports, and community focus. I'm Ralph Mangum. Thanks for your support of the WHKY News.